It was not Frieza's intention to fight a god of destruction this soon, but now that Liquirr has pulled up himself and disrespected him, how will he respond? The venue is Universe 8. Liquirr, the god of destruction of this universe, is on Frieza's tail right now because he believes that Frieza is the intruder who intentionally eliminated one of the oldest races in Universe 8. If you fellas haven't already, be sure to go back and check out the previous parts of What If Black Frieza Confronted Beast Gohan for a little bit better context. As for where the story goes from here on out, well, what we have now is a battle between the destroyer of Universe 8, Liquirr, and Black Frieza. And it's worth noting that Universe 8 was one of the 4 universes that stand in existence with the highest mortal levels. Liquirr, their destroyer, has done a phenomenal job in maintaining law and order in this universe. You can even say that out of all 12 universes, this one is probably the safest and most peaceful. Shoot, despite being a destroyer, he only ever destroys criminals and outlaws. He's like the bully checker. Thanks to this, there have been rumors that the only reason Universe 8 isn't considered the best universe is because the Destroyer hasn't fulfilled his role in the more traditional sense. It may sound crazy, but the Grand Prix actually wants him to be a little bit more like Beerus with his sense of destruction. Anyways, as far as how this battle transpires, let's hop right in. You know what? I really wanted to avoid a fight, at least until I knew for a fact I'm the strongest one in my universe, and well, guess what? We can still figure it out. Just tell me why you approached me so rudely and I'll explain any question or misconception you may have about me. How does that sound? Black Frieza states in the most polite voice he could muster up. Liquirr, on the other hand, just looks at Korn with a plain expression on his face. Korn, how likely is it for Beerus to get involved if I take this guy out, he asks. 0. I'd say, in fact, it could lead to better relations with Lord Beerus, Korn replies. Yeah, that's what I thought, Liquirr says, and then he looks back at Frieza. Alright, let's fight somewhere empty. I know you're trying to be an adult, but relax, kid. You can't hide that raging bloodlust with politeness. Frieza would clench his fist and mentally prepare himself for the worst as Korn teleports them to the emptiest region of Universe 8. The region was intentionally designed to fight those who posed a threat to universal security. Liquirr was not over here looking for a sparring match though, and you can bet he was going to try and finish this as soon as he possibly can. Then there was Frieza. He breathes slowly and relaxes all of his muscles. Just as Liquirr enters his destroyer state, Frieza realizes that even though he fought Beast Gohan, he hasn't actually experienced the full extent of his powers yet. That fight with Beast Gohan ended as quickly as it started after all. But this was going to be different. Now that he can't avoid a fight, it's better to just go all out. Liquirr starts tossing Hakai Blast at Frieza without reservation, and even though Frieza is gradually getting the hang of it, they're still dangerous. If he isn't careful, he's done for. Though if Liquirr thinks Frieza is going to stay on the defensive, he is fundamentally mistaken. The moment he catches Liquirr pausing for a split second to readjust his aim, Frieza slams him in the gut the same way he did Goku and Vegeta on Planet Cereal. However, it's already been a couple of years since then. Frieza's top speed is still a mystery to everybody. Liquirr ain't really familiar with Frieza's game though. He just shrugs it off as slight carelessness on his end and mentally prepares himself for the next time Frieza would try to catch him off guard with his speed. Definitely not the person you want to underestimate, but we'll see how this plays out. Frieza would just grin. Come on, are you even taking this seriously, he says. I've never been not serious in my life, Liquirr replies. Frieza does have a point though. Unlike him, Liquirr isn't really trying to catch him or chase him down. He's just sending blasts from a distance. This sort of casual back and forth continues for another couple of hours as Frieza finally starts getting an accurate grasp of where Liquirr stands in comparison to the rest of the strong opponents he's fought so far. He grins again and approaches Liquirr. Are you sure you want to be this close to me? I can just blast you into nothingness. You are at point blank range, Liquirr states. Oh, I know, but I'll be done with you before you can do that, Frieza replies. Interesting. Tell me what makes you so confident. Let's humor each other before I destroy you, Liquirr declares. Confident? What does that even mean, Frieza laughs. Smug mortal. Alright, another question. Why did you invade Universe 8? What did you do to the Kage tribe? They are one of the earliest civilizations, not just in Universe 8, but in the multiverse itself, Liquirr asks. If I tell you that I did nothing, would you believe me? Frieza says. Not for a second, Liquirr replies. Well, in that case, the only way we can humor each other is through our fist, Frieza declares, and then he plunges forward. Liquir blasts him off with Hakai, but Frieza has already dodged and landed his attack on Liquir again. This is the second time he's gotten a clean hit, but only this time Frieza is more ruthless. He would continue landing punch after punch at such an insane speed that, forget his body, not even Liquir's mind could keep up. I could tell Lord Liquir that you're not the brightest destroyer, are you? If this was Lord Beerus, I would actually feel reserved, but no, you're not even a threat, Frieza states. Horn continues to watch all of this unfold because, of course, he doesn't really have the authority to intervene, or maybe he does. After all, Frieza isn't a resident of Universe 8. He can help Liquir take him out. May I be of assistance, my lord, he asks, but this rubs the God of Destruction the wrong way. He grabs Frieza's tail, yanks him closer to himself, and prepares to just nuke his face off with a Hakai, but Frieza adapts on the fly and lands a kick on Liquir's leg, which allows him to break free in time. Look, no matter how much this fight escalates, you are not gonna intervene. Don't break the rules, Korn. I don't need your help, Liquir tells the angel. Wow, isn't that sweet? You know, you really remind me of somebody, Frieza laughs hysterically. He lets out this hollow laughter that echoes throughout the entire empty region of Universe 8 that they're in. He can't help it though, because it was true. Liquir may be a multi-million-year-old God of Destruction, but Frieza can't help but draw the comparison to Vegeta. Maybe that's why he's no longer able to take the Destroyer seriously. The fight continues for another couple of hours, and although Liquir has been able to counter Frieza enough times, Frieza is ultimately the one leading this battle. At this point, Liquir has had enough. He prepares something called a perfect sphere made of pure destruction. And the thing about a perfect sphere is that it's impossible to create, but Hakai is a form of energy that defies the laws of the multiverse. So what would happen when a perfect sphere is not only created, but it's actually created as an offensive measure? Well, it would have to have no contact area, which would result in infinite pressure that would make it untouchable. And you add that with the fact that it's made up of pure Hakai energy, not even Black Frieza can hope to evade or counter something like a perfect Hakai sphere. And Frieza knew this as well. He knew that not even recreating whatever the heck Gohan did to send him here was going to be enough to save him this time. It honestly looks like it might be over for Black Frieza. What's wrong, mortal? Not laughing now, are we? Liquir says. It's the first time he had chuckled in this entire fight. He knows that he's won now and there's nothing Frieza can do. Time and time again, you insist on disrespecting me. I suppose I'll oblige and accept your challenge then, but make it quick, Frieza replies. He's definitely not giving up. In fact, he has a little something up his sleeve that may work. Frieza would let out a sigh saying, I guess it's too late to go back now. Then just as Liquir unleashes his attack, he notices a piercing sensation in his chest. What the, he says. But seriously, what happened here? Well, this perfect sphere of destruction requires an extraordinary amount of focus and concentration, kind of similar to the special beam cannon, and the user also has to make sure to shield themselves against any kind of possible onslaught, otherwise they lose concentration and the sphere would collapse, and that's going to create an entire disaster in itself. This is one of the most potent and difficult to master attacks of the gods, but the exact moment at which someone takes aim and releases the perfect sphere is when they're the most vulnerable. Frieza would take advantage of that very moment. He waited until Liquir's concentration was at its peak with the perfect sphere, and for that brief moment he would raise his power to his maximum and something diabolical would happen here. For the slightest moment, around only a tenth of a second, it almost seems like time stopped for Liquir. Korn's face scrunches at the sight of what's happening, but he was told not to intervene, and in this sliver of time where Liquir was unaware that he was basically on pause, Frieza was able to get the perfect shot. By the time Liquir was moving in real time again, his heart had already been pierced by a death beam, causing the sphere to dissipate. Now this was pretty risky for Frieza because if it hadn't worked out, he would have just taken that attack head on. What Frieza just did was reveal his use of a technique he'd only seen prior, but it seems like his time training wasn't only spent on gaining this new form. However, this only worked because of the element of surprise, and Liquir honestly still underestimating Frieza. The Tyrant had been busy at work perfecting his craft, and just because he was caught off guard by Beast Gohan's power doesn't mean he doesn't have tricks up his sleeve. Frieza hadn't perfected the technique of time skipping at all and is nowhere near as effective as Hit with it, but strategy is everything, and with Liquirr being slightly weakened over time and his focus being on his own attack, he was vulnerable. Korn can only watch in silence as he begins to shut down for the time being. I see, so this is what death feels like, Liquirr says. Lord Liquirr, is this your first time or something? Frieza asked. Yeah, I guess. Why are you suddenly so happy though? Liquirr asked. Oh, I don't know. I think I just got a little lucky today, and I personally have nothing against you destroyers, Frieza replies. Huh, well, I still think you're just a stupid mortal. The ramifications of this will surely be cataclysmic, Frieza. Prepare yourself now, Liquirr says as he finally passes away. Now, Frieza was a bit taken aback by this entire experience. He had never come here to kill a god of destruction in the first place, but now he may just be the greatest criminal in the entire multiverse, and for some reason, he can't help but worry about the last thing Liquirr just said. Well, meanwhile, over in Universe 7, Whis reports to Beerus that Frieza has just killed Lord Liquirr. Beerus spits his drink out and Goku and Vegeta do the same. What an absolute freaking donkey, man. Now I have to kill him myself or else this whole incident will be made out to be my fault, Beerus states. And of course, the other destroyers actually had some pretty interesting reactions to this, especially Universe 5, the universe that is directly linked to Universe 8. Now that Liquirr was dead, the Supreme Kai was also dead, which means that they'll have to assume sovereignty over Universe 8 for the time being. Whis would then show the entire ordeal to everyone at Planet Beerus, but Goku just couldn't help but get excited seeing at how strong Frieza had become even just in this fight alone. Meanwhile, Gohan is continuing to try, but he still hasn't gotten the hang of his beast transformation. Though, why did the fight between Liquirr and Frieza even happen in the first place? Wasn't it because Frieza allegedly eliminated that Kage tribe? Well, we know that he didn't do that, so who was the real culprit? Well, who knows, but something interesting is actually happening back at the scene of Gohan and Frieza's initial battle that resulted in Frieza being ejected to the next universe. All of a sudden, a shadowy figure emerges from that very spot. Going back to the universal matters though, the Grand Priest would summon Beerus, Shin, and Whis so that they can review this situation together. Beerus turns white when Whis shares this news with him, so let's hope that nothing escalates with the Grand Priest. As for Frieza, well, eventually he did end up finding his way back to that planet he was enjoying his little forced vacation on before being interrupted by Lord Liquirr. Frieza knew after single-handedly shifting the power dynamic of the multiverse himself, a storm was coming, he just didn't know the reaction yet. But after defeating a god of destruction, his primary concern at this moment was still testing himself against Beast Gohan.